and I'm very happy to be here and be some sort of support to you all. Also joining us today are my coworkers, Amelia and Marie. For today's PowerPoint, we're going to learn the benefits of working for the state of Illinois, to identify current career opportunities, and understand the application process. A little bit of information of this agency is in 1997, IDHS consolidated services to only 5 divisions. That came together like a giant puzzle piece, making IDHS the largest agency in the state. And this was done to better serve our customers. And today we have over 14,000 employees and still hiring. So Division of Developmental Disability and Division of Mental Health, they both have 7 facilities each and have facilities that offer 24/7 care for their residents. The residents are provided with care and get help to live fulfilling lives. The Division of Family and Community Services offers services like TANF, medical, and SNAP to help provide families in need. And majority of the facilities in this division is our public aid offices. And we have Division of Rehabilitation Services. We have 45 offices and 3 schools for the deaf and visually impaired, allowing people to live in their homes rather than going off to a nursing home. And it can and it can also provide people with resources to become employed. Division of Substance Use Prevention and Recovery. We fund over 1,000 programs statewide who offer preventative treatment, recovery, and intervention services. So let me highlight our benefits. As a state employee, we have a ton of benefits. This is a great reason why working for the state is awesome. We have a very diverse workforce. Sometimes our jobs are challenging, but it is very rewarding experience because we are helping the fellow people of Illinois. We have competitive health, vision, and dental plans. And as government workers, we get a lot of holidays off. We start with 2 weeks of vacation a year. To top that off, we also get a state pension plan. We are one of the very few places that still offers a pension, which is awesome. We have something called deferred compensation. Selecting to have one is completely up to you. There are like 457 plans. They have a pre-tax and a post-tax option, and they have different selections to put in your funds if you select to have one. And as a state employee, you can get preference when promotional opportunities become available, because working with the state is working under a giant umbrella. If you decide you want to change agencies, you can do that. If you want to just change careers because you are bored of the path you're in now, or you want to try something new, you can. If you want to move from a human resources to accounting to IT to whatever you want, we have employee bargaining rights that let us move to different jobs. And if you are working for the state, we have a program that has tuition reimbursement. So if you want to get promoted to a title that requires more education, if the title is in upper mobility program, we will help you pay for your college tuition. So working for the state government also qualifies you for the Federal Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, also known as PSLF. This is something offered by the federal government, and working for the state qualifies you for it. The way this process works is once you make 10 years worth of student loan payments, the federal government forgives the rest of the loan balance. And this is only for federal loans. And this is pretty good because a lot of people have federal student loans. If you're bilingual, we offer bilingual bonus of 5% of your salary. So that is pretty awesome. And one of the biggest reasons to work with IDHS is our work week is only 37.5 hours. So you have more time to do what you want instead of working. So let's talk about the application process. We have two different ways of applying for a vacancy. We have the non-management titles. This means you need to complete the paper CMS employment application. Make sure to review the email on the job posting before you submit the CMS 100 employment application. Make sure to submit all documents and applications in PDF format. Oopsie, excuse me. Determine if the vacancy you are interested requires an automated test, and if it doesn't, application will be graded based on training and experience. After submitting the application to the hiring agency, your application will be reviewed and you will be given a grade. You will receive the grade in the mail, and it takes a minimum of 10 to 11 weeks to receive it. If you receive an A, you'll be on top of the list. Then they will move on to B's and C's if they need to. Sometimes they have enough A's and will now move on to the next grade. Some titles require an interview and other titles get a job, and other titles get a job offer. And last step, working for IDHS. For the online application titles, also known as management titles, review the vacancy, read the application instructions, and if the instruction is to apply online, then click the apply button. Complete the application process. You will receive an invitation to get scheduled for an interview, and the last step, working for IDHS. Under this new application system, these titles will no longer be given a grade. And here is a list of our high-need professional job titles. These are not all the state titles. There are over 2,000 different job titles. So starting with the social service career trainee, this title requires a bachelor's degree in any field of study. A social service career trainee meets with clients, assesses their cases, and recommends programs that they may qualify for. An educator. An educator requires a license by ISBE. They are instructors that teaches our students. A registered nurse 1 and 2, they need to be licensed in Illinois. They provide direct professional nursing care services. Dietitian, they need to be licensed in Illinois. They interpret diets, plans, and directs the preparation of patient diets. The rehabilitation counselor trainee, they require a master's degree. They work with clients and help them gain and maintain competitive employment. They also help clients access resources and services that help them remain living independently in their homes and community. These positions have a strong promotional track in place, which explains why we are continuously hiring. If you are interested in these titles, please apply for them. We are always hiring, and if you'd like to learn more information about these titles, please visit our website, as some of these titles are continuous jobs postings and are posted all year round. And here we have our other high need job titles. These titles require a high school diploma or associate's degree. We have the account technician 1. They perform basic accounting clerical duties. The mental health technician trainee. They help the residents in our facilities. They are equivalent to a CNA, but without the CNA requirements. Support service worker. They work in our food and nutrition department. They prepare, serve food, clean, and operate food service equipment. Public aid eligibility assistant. They greet and obtain initial necessary information from clients applying for public assistance. The rehabilitation case coordinator. They perform routine clerical tasks, maintain clients' case files, records, and documentations in the office. These titles are high need and we are continuously recruiting. If you have an interest, please apply. And we understand the state application process can be overwhelming and intimidating, but no worries, we are here to support you. First things first, visit our website, create a profile, and find ways of searching for jobs, like searching by agency and entering keywords, making sure to follow the application instructions on the job posting. And the most important part is making sure you are submitting the application correctly. The following 2 slides will show you how to create an account, complete your profile, and upload your documentation. So first, in creating an account, here on the bottom, the yellow arrow is going I'm going to start again. First step in creating an account, the yellow arrow is pointing to view profile. Click on view profile and towards the bottom of the page, select to create an account. It is highlighted in yellow. Click on create an account. Create your account by entering your email, creating a password, entering your first and last name, and selecting the county region of residence. After completing all the required fields, select create an account. This part will only take a few minutes of your time, and we recommend you create an account because this will allow you to set up job alerts. After creating an account, you will complete your profile. As you can see here, all the different subjects you can click on. Go through all of them and complete all of these sections. You can upload documents, add things about yourself, previous employment, education, skills, and certification and licenses. We recommend at the point of uploading your resume that it be in a simple text format, because we have programs that download and read those resumes. So if it's a real fancy resume, that is great. But the best way for our programs to read your resume is to upload a simple text version of your resume. And if you have a cover letter, you can upload that too. And any additional documentation, anything that you could think is important to upload. All documents uploaded should be in PDF format. All right, after you complete your profile, we are going to search for jobs. So in the upper right-hand corner of the Illinois website, you will see view all jobs. You will click on that, and that is how we are going to start searching for jobs. You can search by keywords, meaning you can enter your preferred county of where you want to work. And if you know the title you are interested in, you can search by job title. You can also click on search more options to search jobs by agency. In this case, selecting Illinois Department of Human Services. When searching for jobs, please remember, we only have counties that currently have jobs available. So do not be discouraged if you do not see your interested county. That just means that county does not have any available jobs. But we are always posting jobs, so come back and check. So when you see a job posting that you are interested, click on it. It will have all kinds of good information. You need to really pay attention to the closing date. Most jobs are posted for 14 days. So 14-day posting period is very important that you apply prior to the closing day and time. If you send your documents afterwards, that is too late. So please review the posting. Read. I know a lot of people like to just click and skim, scroll down to the shiny button that says apply, but think they are all done. We are asking to please read the posting and follow the application instructions. And please remember, this is very important. The state of Illinois has two different ways of applying for state jobs. The non-management titles, you must apply by submitting a CMS 100 application contact listed on the posting. And for the management titles, you must apply using the online system and click the apply button. These two types of titles are very different and is very important to understand. And while completing the CMS 100 employment application, first make sure to download the CMS 100. Save the application to your computer, enter the title correctly, and make sure to enter the bid ID on the application. This will be the posting ID on the job posting, and please make sure to enter complete social security number. If you are bilingual, please let us know. This will qualify you for both the bilingual and non-bilingual eligible to hire lists. Must sign application by typing your name and date. Make sure your application is as detailed as possible. And remember, if it's not on the application, you will not receive credit for it, regardless if you included a resume and transcripts. Break down your titles within the organization. So for example, let's say you worked at a bank, started as a teller, and after a few years, you got promoted to a personal banker. You will enter each title separate and include their own job description. Make sure to be as detailed on every job description. The state wants to see what you have done and how far, and for how long. Also, you can add volunteer and internship experience. And remember, if it's not on the CMS application, it doesn't exist. This is your opportunity to sell yourself. Make sure to triple check the information entered. And finally, submit your application to the hiring agency per job posting instructions. And on this page, we just want to touch on question number 7. Please make sure you are entering 2 preferred counties, the one you're willing to work and the one you're willing to travel. And here for question number 14, education report, make sure to enter the name of the college or university and full address. And on hours earned, enter total earned credit hours. To obtain a bachelor's degree under a semester credit hour system, you are required to have 120 semester credit hours. And for a bachelor's degree under a quarterly credit hour system, it is 180 quarterly credit hours. And on this page of the employment application, make sure you are breaking down the courses. So for example, you took 3 management information system classes, and for each class you earn 3 credit hours. The total amount you'll be entering under semester undergrad hours is 9, as you can see on the application here. And on here for question number 15, we cannot stress enough, but to be as detailed as possible. And here you have 2 different grades. The first grade is given when taking an automated test. In this example, the grade is for the Public Aid Eligibility Assistant title. This person received an A grade, which is great, and this is the grade you want to achieve. Keep in mind, all exams are multiple choice on a computer. The exams are timed 1.5, 2 or 3 hours, and at the end of the exam, you'll receive a grade notice. You will also find out what you got wrong on the exam. With all the exams, you can either get an A, B, C, or fail. Keep in mind, you must wait 30 days to retest for the same title with an active posting only. Your grade is good for 1 year. The second grade is given based on training and experience. Training and experience grades are given based on your training, experience, and education in comparison to the job requirements. If you are not happy with your grade, you can appeal your grade and request an explanation within 90 days of the grade being issued. When you do so, you can include additional experience and education. We have 5 testing centers: Chicago, Springfield, Champaign, Marion, Rockford, and all testing is by appointment only. CMS will contact you via phone to schedule testing. And we recommend setting job alerts because this function will give you an opportunity to know when your interested title becomes available. And the state of Illinois offers additional services like career counseling. We highly recommend you reach out to a career counselor. We have many titles, and if you have questions regarding our job titles, the job requirements, and what you may qualify for, this service will help point you in the right direction. Also, they will review your application, provide feedback, and give you tips and recommendations on how to improve your employment application. This service is offered by mail or email. Email is a faster turnaround. So if you want to take a minute and take a picture of the email address, I'll give you like a second. Okay, this program, the Disability Workers Program, provides disability accommodations for the state employment testing and application completion. Accommodations are available at all 5 testing sites. If you need help on a multiple choice test, we do have accommodated testing. We have Braille, extra time, the sum of text, or whatever you need to be successful on your test. We want to help you. If you have an interest, you must submit your request through the Disabled Programs Worker staff in Springfield. So make sure you take a picture of that email. And on the second one, the Veterans Outreach Program, if you serve in the military, either active or reserves, we do have veterans preference, meaning that you may get some points added to your score when you go take an automated test. You may get preferential hiring depending on your service. And please be aware that we just offer this for veterans as a thank you for serving our country. So if you have an interest, you need to establish your preference. And you have the email on the bottom. So I'll give you a second to take a picture or write it down. You apply, now what? If the job is filled internally, no actions will be taken on your application, but please continue to apply for future postings. If the job is not filled internally, your application will be reviewed by Central Management Services. If your title requires an automated test, you will be contacted by one of the testing centers to arrange date and time for testing. If the title does not require an automated test, you will receive a grade notice in the mail. Once you have established grade from Central Management, your name will be placed on the list of eligible candidates. The list will be sent to the State Agency Human Resources. Priority will be given to the highest grade candidates starting with A's. If there is a large pool of candidates, individuals will be selected randomly from the list. Recap. There are 2 ways to apply for a position, either by a CMS 100 or using the online application process. Number 2, be truthful, thorough, detailed, and do not abbreviate. Number 3, be conscientious of the application closing date and time on the posting. Number 4, testing is by appointment only. CMS will contact you to schedule. Number 5, your grade is good for 1 year from your testing date. Number 6, no grades will be issued for management positions. Number 7, you have 90 days to appeal your grade. And lastly, take advantage of career counseling services. And remember, if it's not on your application, it didn't happen, and you will not receive credit for it. So what's next? Contact our recruitment team. Our email is dhs@recruitment@illinois.gov. We have our own, and to find jobs, you'll go to work.illinois.gov. This is all state jobs, and we also have our own DHS website at www.dhs-state.il.us. So we're done with the presentation. If anybody has any questions, feel free to go ahead and ask. Amelia, do we have any questions?
It looks like you have a couple in the room here.
Okay.
Chat. What is the percentage of internal hires versus external hires?
Amelia, are you able to answer that question for me?
Yes, I don't have the exact percentage, but a practice of ours is that as promotional opportunities become available, we tend to offer those opportunities to our internal employees first, which does give an employee the upper hand, but that doesn't mean that we don't hire frequently from the outside. So I would say most of our positions are filled externally. However, when promotional opportunities become available, they are offered internally first, which is something we're proud of.
Okay, Shakita says, I did get an A, but now it's going to expire. What do I do now? Waiting for feedback and have not at this time. I guess receive feedback.
Okay, so we want to know, it's going to expire maybe sometime soon. Let's just give you an example, April. I would say send us your employment application so we review when your grade is going to expire. And then also we'll be resubmitting your application to CMS for grading again. So it could be extended again to another year.
So yeah, just to reiterate, your grade is only good for 1 year. If a year goes by and you were not hired, then that should trigger you to reapply by submitting an updated application for the same title. And if you have to test, our testing center will contact you to retest for that position. If it's a non-testing title, then we will regrade your application. And until you receive a notice in the mail with a grade, or until you retest and receive a grade through your test results, you should continue to apply, because not until you receive a grade is that confirmation that you have been added to the eligible to hire list. Of course, as long as you get an A, B, or C.
Okay. Carol asks, do you have a trial test for us to practice? And then also, do you have a generic resume template that would cross over into the system easily?
We do not have a resume template. I know that for positions that require you to apply online, the system does a pretty good job of transferring the information from a Word document onto the populating it into the various categories on the online system. But if you are submitting a CMS 100, your grade is solely on what's on the application. Even if you submit a resume, unfortunately, because the application is the legal document, if you submit a resume, that information is not reviewed. We grade solely on what you included on the CMS 100. At the end of the day, if it's not on the CMS 100, in our eyes, it didn't happen and you will not receive credit for it. So unless you are applying for a position that requires you to submit an online application, you do not need a resume.
Okay, thank you. Ahmed asks, how about if I don't have any education from US, but I have from India?
If you have education from outside of the country, there are organizations out there that will evaluate your education from outside of the country, and then they will give you a report that explains what your education equates to in the US. And you can use that report then to apply for positions that require specific education. I believe it costs about $130 to go through that process.
Okay, how long does it take CMS to grade your application?
Right now, it's taking 10 to 12 weeks to receive a grade in the notice. A grade notice in the mail. Now, as Elisa mentioned earlier, in some cases when positions are filled internally, your application may not be graded because we filled that position internally. I'll mention it again, unless you receive a grade notice, either because you tested at a testing center or because you received a grade notice in the mail, you should continue to apply for that specific or that same title until you do receive a grade, which then confirms you have been added to the eligible to hire list.
Okay. Carrie asks, if you're not picked for a job, do they let you know?
Yes, they do let you know. They may send you a letter or an email.
Might have answered this, but Tawana wants to know, after you take the test, how long does it take to be called for the position?
It's hard to say because it really depends on the need of the facilities in the counties that you selected on your employment application. It's like we never know when someone's going to be promoted to a different position. Maybe they might cross over to a different agency, or they may resign or may retire. So it's really hard to say. But, I guess the right way of answering the question is it could be up to a year. We just never know when it's going to happen, when the need is going to rise.
And that might have also answered Sherry's question, how long does it normally take to get hired once you put in your application?
Correct.
Okay. Here's a question from Carol. Why can't we save our favorites? I don't know.
I think that's a system question.
Okay. Trying to make sense of the next question here. From Alyssa, there was an email address for CMS counseling by email, but I need the end of it.
Okay, I'll go back.
And then what we'll do is we will share the presentation. Do you want us to, I don't know, I don't think we directly have access to email the presentation to the attendees, but is that something you're able to do if we send you the slides?
I think so. If you have a PDF, you can just put it in the chat room.
Okay, I'll do that.
Oh, wait, maybe not. Okay. Actually, this is being recorded. And we will be posting it on our website. And it's also on Facebook Live as it's going on right now.
Excellent.
Go ahead and email me the presentation, and then I will talk with our staff about when it's posted that we would have the PDF attached. It's probably the best way to do it, because I don't think in webinars you can put PDFs in.
Sounds great. Will do.
Alrighty. Are there software developer jobs? That's from David.
We do have a large IS department. I've been with DHS for about a year now. I have not seen that specific title become available, but I'm sure it exists. My recommendation is we're constantly posting new jobs on our website. I'd make it a practice to visit the site at least once a week, or visit our website, create a profile, and create job alerts for specific titles so that you don't miss out on any future opportunities.
You know, what I found, I worked for IDS for a little bit, and I found the career counseling, if I made an appointment, that really helped me identify positions that I could test for and apply for. So I would recommend, you know, and correct me if I'm wrong, the counseling services to help me, well, help the candidates decide which positions they would want to apply for. Is that correct?
Yes, they are very helpful. We have thousands of titles, and you know, we don't expect our applicants to know what those specific titles do or what are the requirements. So taking advantage of career counseling is something we definitely encourage. And they're also willing to review your application and give you tips on how to improve your candidacy.
I'd also like to add, as a veteran, do you still have a veteran counselor with CMS?
I'm not really sure. Well, actually, yes, we do have a program that works with our veterans, and I believe Elisa just posted the slide on our presentation.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see what else. Karen asks, are there remote job opportunities?
Yes, but they would be on a temporary basis. Right now, our recruitment team and most of our HR department is working from home, but we know that that's just on a temporary basis due to our current circumstances, but nothing permanently that we know of.
Okay. Nancy asks, jobs advertised show a range for the salary. If the low end of the range for starting and the high end of the highest that position earns, or is this the range that you can be offered when starting? The wording can be ambiguous sometimes, so it wasn't sure. I guess, you know, you have that whole range, and where do you start coming in?
Right, and it really depends on the position and the need. So, for example, registered nurses, it's a very high need position. We recently reviewed the practice, and we, in that specific title, were able to give credit for specific years of experience. There are other titles, for example, the office assistant. That position, you are going to start at the starting range. There, unfortunately, is not a lot of wiggle room to play with the starting range. So it really depends on the type of position that you're applying for.
Okay. Okay, once you receive a grade for the position, should you stop applying for that position and just wait for the call?
Yes, absolutely. Once you receive a grade, do not apply until your grade notice expires, which again is a year later, because even if you apply 10 times for that same title, it's not going to move you up on the list. Once we see that that you have a grade for that specific title, we actually don't do anything with that second, third, fourth, fifth application because there's no need to.
Okay. Can we apply for more than one job title at a time?
Yes. However, I will mention each title requires its own application. So you can't submit one application with 3 titles. If there are 3 different jobs, then we would require 3 separate applications.
Okay. Will the state hire contractors?
Yes, we actually every once in a while will post contractor positions on our website, and there might be some now. I think I just saw one last week.
Okay. From Joe, for a veteran to supply required information proving service, how secure is the system for sensitive information like the DD-214?
It's actually very secure. And that's why we're able to require certain information like a full social security number.
Okay. Ahmed asks, are there, I guess, specific names of evaluation agencies for that degree from India that you accept? College page do that, or?
Yes, I know there's, we have a link on our website that gives a list of the different organizations that we will accept, I guess, transcripts from. And you can find that on our website. I don't know if Elisa, can you try to find the link?
Actually, Amelia, have them email the recruitment. Email us at our DHS recruitment email, and I'll send you the list.
Perfect. Then I saw a question pop up. You do not have to include 2 counties on your application. Depending on where you live, you may only be able to travel to 1 county. So we recognize that. So if you only include county, you know, Cook County on your application, that's totally acceptable. Or whatever county, you don't necessarily have to select 2.
Yeah, Square, this is probably more my area a little. Can I check for available bilingual county jobs before I apply? Yes, go to the county website, DuPageCo.org, and I'll type that in here again. DuPageCo.org is the county website. You can look at all the open jobs right there, and we'll let you know if they're bilingual or not. Carol asks if it's live on Facebook. They do not show our names and the questions. Is that correct? I don't know. We just started using Facebook Live, so I'm not sure right now. Okay, so if you are still working remote, I guess at the state position, and if you are for the location area, the person need to be in that location. I guess that means if the office is in a certain location, but people are working remote. I'm not sure there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no. Could you show your page again with the career counseling information, please? Okay, the emails are in here to send a PDF to either me or Siobhan. Oh, okay, Carol asks, do you recommend going over 10 years of job history to get job credit?
I would say, you know, our application is 14 pages long. 10 of those pages are dedicated to work history. Include any work history that aligns with the type of position that you're applying for. If that means you go back 10 years, then go back 10 years. Because at the end of the day, your grade is based on not just what type of experience you have, but also how much of that experience you hold.
I think an earlier question in the chat was someone was worried about age. And I know when we were co-located at the unemployment office in Lombard, the IDS, Illinois Department of Employment Security, actually hired a veteran who was a P-51 Mustang pilot in World War II. And I know they had a guy there in his late 70s working. I know for me, even with the county, age is not a consideration. It's what are your qualifications for the job? Would you concur with that?
Yes, I agree.
All righty.
I saw a question asking for clarification. If a posting says do not apply online, then that posting requires a CMS 100 employment application, and you should email it to the agency contact that's listed on that specific posting.
Okay. Let me see here. Okay, that's just something for me. Wow, I think we're pretty much at the end. Okay. If there aren't any other questions, if I can get the screen back and I'll just wrap this up. And I really appreciate you coming on board, all of you, to answer the questions and to talk about the program. You know, to get a state job is very important. I know when I was going through all my layoffs, the big thing for me was going to show, excuse me for 1 second, I'm trying to bring my screen up. I had a lot of applications in at the state. I had them in at the federal government. I had them in at the county. Plus I was applying for corporate. I just had a lot of action going. And as a matter of fact, I heard about the state jobs through a veteran event. You just don't know what's going to hit. And sometimes, you know, state jobs opened up, then they closed. Sometimes I was working for the state and then a position became available. The time, you don't really know all the time frames. It's just what I found, and you've already talked about this, is when the position becomes available, they'll contact you. Okay, for everyone who's working with a counselor here, the code for you to email your counselor so that you get credit for today's workshop is DHS 4921. That's today's date. DHS 4921. We will put that in the chat. Actually, I'm going to do that right now, hopefully. And again, coming up, our next career conversation is April 30th, Opportunities in Transportation, Distribution, Logistics. May 14th, I have 4 recruiters, Paul Cameron, an IT recruiter, Tim Murphy, he's a general computer recruiter, usually HR, manufacturing, accounting. Let's see, Georgia Katsianis, she has presented before. She does recruiting as also a career advisor. And then Jennifer Melman, who's with Presidio, that does a lot of government contracts, federal government. Jennifer Wegeman will talk about don't get slammed by job scams. Jennifer, you want to talk about that if you wish?
Sure, good morning. I've had a few clients, and I know our other counselors have as well, and they get some very strange, but these are, you know, very complicated, sophisticated international gangs that are trying to get your private information, whether it's a bank account, you know, your personal private information. So I would trust, and then, you know, first verify, then trust who you're dealing with. And one of my recent clients, I was observing what he shared with me, and I said, you know, this doesn't look right. And I would call the company directly to verify that you do have an appointment. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. But I know that a lot of people in job search are very open to new opportunities, and that's why they're targeting job seekers right now. It turned out that this company had taken over a LinkedIn company profile and was using LinkedIn to contact this job seeker. So again, you have to be very careful and very wary. So we'll talk more about some options and how you can learn and educate yourself about the scams that are out there, and they're always changing. We just had a trifecta year of, you know, COVID, stimulus checks, the census. So again, these are very sophisticated operations, and they just want to try and take your identity, which is not going to help you in your job search. You got other things to do. We'll try and help you learn more about that.
Thank you. June 11th, how to find a federal job. Ms. Segal is well, she's been in federal government, human resources for over 30 years, has written several books on how to do it. I watched her present at Holy Name Cathedral Job Club and found it very interesting. It's very detailed. So she will be presenting June 11th. And then I will be presenting Be the Key to the Solution, selling your value. A lot of people that I found, even myself when I was going through this, you know, I just want a job, and I never really talked about how I could be a benefit to the employer. And what I've learned from these employer panels is they want you to tell them how you're going to help them and how you're going to be a benefit. So I'm going to talk about that, and I have stories from people previous job seekers who've come through our program and how they used that to their benefit and actually sealed the deal and got the job. You can go to our website to register for the webinars. All of these are on our website, so you can register. We will also be using Facebook Live in the future. And I will go back here. This is the code for you, because I can't access the chat room right now. To email your counselors, DHS 4921. 4921. Thank you for your time. Also, Amelia and Marie, thank you very much.